Today, I'm going to tell you a beautiful and heart-touching story about the power of constant istighfar. This story is based on a real event, and it shows how sincere repentance and trust in Allah can lead to miraculous outcomes when all hope seems lost. Once upon a time, in a quiet and remote village, there lived an old lady who had a beloved grandchild. The child had been ill for some time, and despite the old lady's efforts, his condition worsened. A special surgery was needed, one that only a skilled doctor in the city could perform. But the old lady was poor, and she had no means to pay for the surgery. Worse still, she didn't even know how to travel to the city where the doctor could treat her grandchild. Feeling utterly helpless, the old lady turned to the only source of help she knew, Allah, the Most Merciful. Day after day, she would sit in her small, humble home, continuously seeking forgiveness, doing istighfar with every breath. She prayed not just for herself, but for her grandchild, begging Allah through istighfar to guide them to the help they so desperately needed. She would whisper, "Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah," over and over, tears flowing as she placed her full trust in her Creator. Her heart never gave up, and her lips never stopped the dhikr of istighfar. At the same time, in a city far away, there was a well-known doctor who had been called to travel for an important medical conference. He boarded a plane, eager to arrive at his destination. However, as the flight went on, turbulence and unforeseen technical issues caused the plane to veer off course. The pilot, trying to regain control, was forced to land in an unfamiliar area, far from where the doctor was supposed to be. The doctor was confused when he disembarked. He had never been to this village before, and the weather conditions were poor. Fog, rain, and wind made it impossible to travel anywhere. The doctor needed to get to his original destination, but he had no way of finding a ride or help in this unknown place. Desperate, he walked around looking for assistance, but the storm had caused everyone to stay indoors. As he walked through the village, wondering what to do, he noticed a small house at the edge. The door was open, and inside, he saw an elderly woman sitting, her head bowed in prayer. The doctor stepped closer. He heard her softly reciting, "Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah." Oh. Intrigued and hoping she could help, the doctor approached the house. The old lady looked up and greeted him warmly, inviting him inside. Once seated, the doctor introduced himself, and the old lady explained her plight. She spoke of her grandchild's illness and the need for surgery that only a skilled doctor could perform. She said in a voice full of sorrow that she had no money and no way to travel to the city. She could only rely on istighfar, doing it constantly day and night, asking for Allah's mercy. "I have nothing," she said, "but I do istighfar every day because I know that Allah listens to those who seek His forgiveness and place their trust in Him." The doctor listened carefully to her story, and a feeling of deep awe began to settle in his heart. He couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just a coincidence. Allah had brought him here, through all the twists and turns of his unexpected journey, to this very house. The old lady's sincere istighfar had somehow reached the heavens, and now he, the doctor, was the answer to her call. Moved and humbled, the doctor knew he couldn't turn away. He agreed to perform the surgery, even though the village had no medical facilities and the family had no money. He could see the unwavering trust in the old lady's eyes, a trust built on continuous istighfar and unshakable faith in Allah. The surgery was performed in the most basic of conditions, but it was a success. By the grace of Allah, and through the power of istighfar, the grandchild made a full recovery. The old lady's faith had been rewarded. Her prayers, her patience, and her never-ending istighfar had opened a door of mercy she could never have imagined. Allah had guided the doctor to her, despite all the improbable circumstances. The doctor, deeply transformed by the experience, left the village with a heart full of wonder. He realized that sometimes, what seems like an accident or a misfortune, like being diverted to an unknown village in the middle of a storm, might actually be part of Allah's greater plan. He had witnessed with his own eyes the power of sincere istighfar, and it changed him forever. Moral of the story. This story teaches us the tremendous power of istighfar and the importance of trusting in Allah's divine wisdom. The old lady's faith and her constant istighfar were answered when Allah guided the doctor to her in the most unexpected way. It's a reminder that no matter how difficult or hopeless our situation may seem, istighfar opens the doors of mercy, and Allah's help can come from where we least expect it. Never underestimate the strength of a heart that constantly says, Astaghfirullah,